My wife Margaret was a very intelligent person. She was robust. She had an excitement about life. She was loving. She was caring. She was generous. Was a person that everybody liked or loved. And she generally got along with everybody. We know that she complained about having pains in her back and legs. She went for treatment and diagnosis, and for a long time they thought there was another disease. They thought it was arthritis, and they were giving her painkillers. They were giving her therapy for her back. They were doing all kinds of things.
We thought that the different methods that they were using to relieve the pain were working and that they were resolving the issues. It wasn't until further testing that we understood it was multiple myeloma and was not going to resolve easily. I certainly feel like if she had been properly diagnosed, she would have had a longer lifespan. Multiple myeloma, as we know now, is a very treatable form of cancer, and people have survived decades with proper treatment and therapy, and she did not have that chance because they never delivered that diagnosis until it was way too late for her to receive that treatment and preserve her life.
The last conversation I had with my mom, strangely enough, was her trying to decide whether to allow them to put a permanent trachea in, if it came to that, or to do a DNR, or do not resuscitate. It was a family conversation, and she kept saying, what do I do? What should I do? And all five of us were on this call, and it got really quiet. She asked that question. It got really quiet. Nobody wanted to answer. And then out of the blue, she says, Marley. And I'm like, what? She said, what do I do? And I'm thinking, why would you ask me? I'm the youngest. Like, I don't know. I have no medical experience whatsoever. But, I paused for a moment and I said, well, Mom, you and Dad taught us to trust God in all things. You and Dad taught us that at some point we have to make a decision to choose God or to not choose Him. If this is your time to go, yeah, we will miss you. We will terribly miss you. But we know that you're in heaven with God because we have seen Him work in you. We have seen you do His will. And that would help us get over losing you. You can't be replaced, but that would give us some comfort. But if you stay, yeah, we're going to love on you forever. We're going to love you as long as we can. But if that means that you're not happy, then that's us being selfish. To this day, sometimes I say, why did I say that to her? Why? But it was the honest truth.
Yes, she said, you're going to have to let me go. That would have been the last thing that she said to me. And I said, let you go? We're not going to let you go. The doctors are doing these procedures and stuff they're doing. And she said, no, you're going to have to let me go. And I said, we're not going to let you go. And she said, yes. And she closed her eyes, and on that occasion, she just kind of closed her eyes, and I thought she was going to sleep. But that was the last thing she said to me, you're going to have to let me go. So when I look back on that, she knew at that point that she would not be long for this life. So they gave her a breathing tube to help her to breathe. And after a short period of time, the breathing tube really didn't work very well. The doctors said that they would take the breathing tube out, and that once they did that, she probably wouldn't be able to breathe at all. The doctors asked her, "Do you want us to take the tube out or leave it in?" She couldn't speak, but she did gestures saying, "Take the tube out." We believe that she had come to a place where the pains were so severe and where the doctors really couldn't offer any real cure for her. We believe that she came to a place where she accepted her fate and that she was ready to go home and be with the Lord. And so she said, "Just take the tube out." And within a few minutes, she slumped and she was gone. I felt like part of me had died too. I stood there for a few moments looking at her, and then I felt like I needed to be alone, so I left the others in the room and I walked out into a hallway, and I looked out of a window that was in the hallway. And I stood there for a little while, and I had a little prayer that said, "Lord, what do we do now?"
I was absolutely angry with God for a little while. Why he allowed her to go through the pain that she went through. His plan, they never make sense to me about Mom's life or your life or my life or anyone's life. It's one of those things that you never really have closure on. You just have acceptance.
It was a difficult time. I can't truly say that I was angry with God, but I did not understand how he could allow her to suffer so much pain, how he could allow my mom, this person who loved and gave and just shared everything she had her entire life, dedicated her life to serving others. How could he allow her to go through so much pain in her final days? Looking back now, I have an appreciation for that, because even in her pain, we learned some lessons.
Personally, I felt it was the best thing for her to pass on. I think it was best for her and for the memory that, I would always have of her.
I wondered why they couldn't get the right diagnosis, because she suffered with severe pain for months and months. And certainly we didn't know anything about it. We were not professionals. But it seemed to me that they should have been able to diagnose that sooner. I'm thinking that the pains that she was experiencing and the places where she was experiencing pain, seems like they should have been able to do various tests to find out what was causing the pain. And seems like they could have gotten the right diagnosis, but they didn't.
The disparity of health in this country still exists. There's still a lack of awareness and still a lot of bias from healthcare professionals that people of color and women don't receive the same level of attention that males do and that non-African Americans receive. My parents had excellent health care. There was no reason why she should have been undiagnosed, but she was. They did not take the proper care with her to truly investigate what was happening. She was dismissed time and time again. They did not search for the cause for her pain.
She actually had a bag full of medicines, painkillers. The doctors would prescribe this one and they would prescribe that one, and nothing seemed to help. She would ask me to rub her back with some kind of salve or medicine. And there were a couple of times when she said, "Oh, it hurts for you to rub my back." And I said, "Well, I'm just putting the cream on." And she said, "But it hurts." She was in that much pain. So I know that the pain is over. It was one of the things that I had to reconcile to myself, that her pain is over. She's comfortable now. She's not enduring that anymore. She doesn't have to go through that anymore. So for her, this is better.
My favorite memory of my mom is her, kind of her innocence to some things.
A great memory of my mom was when we were able to travel to Paris. It was such a joyous time where we just were able to explore together.
My favorite memories, I would have to lump them together, the times that we were able to enjoy a vacation in Aruba. We have a timeshare. We were alone. We didn't have anybody around. There was no work, no job, no church, no sermon to prepare. She didn't have to do anything at her job or the organizations that she was part of. So I think that's probably my favorite times, when we were able to get away to Aruba. We had a good marriage. We had a good relationship. We've had 3 great children. We have several great-grandchildren and grands and great-grands. There are times when I dream about her. There are times when I feel good with some good memories about her. There's some times when I feel bad. There's times when I wake up at night and I think I see her in the room. And then I realize, no, she's not in the room. So it's something that I'll never get over. But, we learn to live with it, and that's what it is. I believe she would probably want me to be happy. She probably would want me to find somebody that I could love and somebody that I could marry and get on with my life. She's gone, but I believe that I still feel love inside of me for Margaret Davis. I'd like for people to remember her just the way that she was. She was a person who overcame so many things. Later on, after she had 3 kids, she was going to college. She was among people who were her kids' ages, and they called her the mother of the class. But she took that in a good spirit, and she would laugh and joke. I'd like for people to remember her as a strong, intelligent, robust person who made a difference in this world.
From every stormy wind that blows, from every swelling tide of woes, there is a calm and sure retreat, and it's found beneath the mercy seat.